All right, class, we have made it. We are at the end of our full in-depth Attack of the Vine set review for the Disney Lorcana trading card game. I am Mr. Burns. I am here to teach you. And all we have left to do is the dual ink cards. And there's not that many of them. And there's not a good way to filter them on the website. All right, so bear with me. I had to use Dreamborn, and I will blow up all of the cards so that they are actually on the screen. So first, we have Pocahontas and Miko. Say 4 costs inkable, 2/3, Team Hero Princess. It has Shift 2 and it has Evasive. Quest for 2. When this character quests, you may return a chosen character of yours with cost 1 to your hand. If you do, you may play a character with cost 1 for free. So, obviously, you would love to shift this on a Pocahontas while you have the 1 cost Miko in play. The one that at the end of your turn, if it's exerted, you have to discard a card from your hand. It quests for 2 and it costs 1. So you can continuously quest with the Miko, quest with Pocahontas, return Miko to your hand, replay it so that it is ready at the end of your turn. There's also some other interesting things you can do. You can use the 1 cost Olaf, the 2/1, that when that is returned to your hand, you can return any of your characters to your hand, right? So then every turn you can use Pocahontas and Miko's effect to return the Olaf, to replay the Olaf, while bouncing another character to your hand that might have a good leave play or enter play ability. So obviously this card is fantastic. This is everything we want dual ink cards to be. That you want them to be very powerful because you're being rewarded for being locked into those ink combinations. Because of that, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It is an absolutely phenomenal card, but it's not for every deck, right? And I still think that the best Amethyst Amber deck is going to be the control version. Otherwise, this would be a 5 out of 5. All right, next we have the Madrigal family. 5 costs, 2/8, Team Madrigal. With Madrigal Shift, you may pay 3 ink to play this on top of one of your Madrigal characters. So you can see all of those characters sitting around the dinner table. Any one of these could be the shift target, as long as it's in the color, obviously. It quests for 2. Once during your turn, whenever you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, put the top card of your deck into your inkwell, face down and exerted. So, I've said it in a few of the other videos. If you haven't watched them yet, that's okay. There's going to be a playlist linked down below. You don't have to click off of this one right now. But I basically don't care about healing unless I'm drawing cards most of the time. Getting an extra ink is similar to drawing cards because you could, of course, no longer ink cards from your hand because you have enough ink in play, but it's kind of hard to enable this, especially in this color combination. So because of that, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. All right, next up is Lilo and Stitch, Fun Loving Friends. It's a 5 cost inkable 3/5 that quests for 3 with shift 3. It's a team hero alien. And it's basically just French vanilla suit. It has shift, has resist, has support. It's a fine card. It's a 3 out of 5. All right, next is Aladdin and Genie. So this is a 5 cost inkable 3/3 quest for 2. It's a team, it's a hero, and it has shift 3. Play it on top of one of your characters named Aladdin or Genie. When you play this character, you may put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, draw that many cards plus 1. So if you put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, you're going to draw 3 cards. Put 0 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, you're going to draw 1 card. So worst case scenario, you're paying 5 ink and you're drawing 1 card. And that is pretty bad. That's a pretty bad scenario if I'm being honest. There are definitely some ink colors. I would say if this was Emerald and Sapphire that have, or even Sapphire and Amber, that have so many different synergies that you would love to dig for and that you would love to play 1 or 2 of a certain card in your deck and be able to find it semi-reliably, that I think it would really shine in those ink colors. But in this ink color, I will give it a 2 out of 5. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet 2. 5 costs inkable 3/4. Team, hero, sorcerer, honey. Shift 3, playing on top of one of your characters named Winnie the Pooh, or Piglet. There would be future cards, why I keep saying that it's one of your characters in these ones. This character gets +1 lore for each different ink type of characters you have in play. We have not seen the Great Honey Rescue yet. I'm assuming that all of these honey cards are good in that. This one is also insanely good in limited. And if you care about limited, I was actually just on the Mad Drafters channel, and the video was just uploaded at the time of me recording this. So you can find that under my collaborations tab, or you can go to his YouTube channel. It's The Mad Drafter, and you can hear all about limited because he is the expert in this game at limited play. So yeah, as far as constructed purposes go though, this one's a rough one for me. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. I love the art. I love this enchanted so much. But this is a competitive channel. I gotta keep remembering that. And as far as competitive play goes, 2 out of 5. All right, now we have Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. 5 cost, inkable, 4/4, quest for 2. Team, hero, prince, princess. Shift 3 on top of one of your characters named Rapunzel or Flynn Rider. When this character quests, you may draw a card, choose and discard a card. During your turn, whenever you discard a character card, you may play that character from your discard. So I think this card's fantastic. I'll give this card a 4 out of 5. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 out of 5 is because it's almost certainly going to be immediately banished, because it does not have evasive, it does not have resist, and it's not really in the proper colors to have bodyguard, right? Well, it could technically steal. Steel has some bodyguards, but yeah, it didn't get any of the steel characteristics of resist or bodyguard, because it got that draw and discard effect, which is a steel characteristic. And yeah, draw more cards, win more games. You're effectively not discarding a card. You're just being forced to play a character from your hand if you have one. So obviously you want to already play characters, and the downside of having to discard a card is completely mitigated. It's basically just draw a card. I also like that you can shift this on turn 3 and maybe sing a song with it, like Strength or Thunderbolt, and protect it. And then later on, when you're willing to, you can draw a card and discard a card and play that character. So 4 out of 5. Sully and Boo. All right, so we have that combo shift that I was hyping up earlier. 6 cost, inkable, 6/5, quest for 2, team, hero, monster. Combo shift. This is different from the other shift. You may pay 4 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Sully, one named Boo, or one of each. So, shifting is already kind of a rough ability because you're effectively banishing the card that's under it, except it doesn't even go to the discard pile, so you can recur it and stuff like that immediately. So to want to shift onto 2 different things, we need some kind of big upside for that. And this character definitely has the big upside. When this character is banished, if any of the cards that were under them are character cards, you may play those character cards from your discard for free. And this is mostly going to be played with the Sully that is Amber with Bodyguard. It costs 5, and you can see that in our Amber set review, where you're just going to have a continuous loop where you're constantly going to have that Sully in play, and you're going to constantly have this in your hand or in play. If you have that Sully, this card's a 5 out of 5. If you draw this and you don't draw the 5 cost Sully, or if your opponent was able to deal with it in such a way, like Let It Go or Hades, put in your Inkwell, then this card is just really below rate, below average. I also think the best Boo is actually Sapphire, so you can't play it with this one. If you factor in when it's a 5 out of 5 and when it's unplayable, I'm going to average this to a 3 out of 5. But it's still one of the most exciting cards in the new set. I think that I've said this in a couple of videos, but if it's your first time here, I think a lot of people really get stuck on 5 out of 5 cards and 1 out of 5 cards. They're really min-maxing and not realizing that a 4 out of 5, a 3 out of 5, even a 2 out of 5 means it's still playable. There's just certain scenarios where it's playable. And this is one of those position players that I think is going to make Ruby Amber, one of the, if not the best deck in the upcoming future metagame. All right, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, fast friends. So 6 cost Inkable, 5/4, Team Hero Fairy, Shift 4, not Team Shift, Shift 4, Quest for 2. Your characters gain evasive. I'm not too high on this card. In limited, the card's almost unbeatable, in my opinion. In core constructed, I think 4 is pretty easy to banish. I think that if a deck with this in it became really popular, steel would just skyrocket. And we would see things like Thunderbolt. We'd see a lot of things like Strength. But even in Amber right now, a lot of people are jamming World's Greatest Criminal Mind as well as Gaston. And this gets hit with that as well. This would be significantly better if it was a 4/5. A 4/5 would get around so many things that can likely banish this easily, as well as the fact that evasive, people are already targeting a little bit because of cards like Dumbo being so powerful. So all of that being said, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. Sorry, Uncle G. I know you're gonna rough me up a little bit next time you see me, but that's okay. Christopher Robin, the Honey Sage. So 6 cost Inkable, 4/4 Hero Honey character. Quest for 2. You may have other honey characters in your deck regardless of ink type. You could finally play all 6 colors of ink available to you. When you play this character, you may search your deck for a honey card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. If you do, shuffle your deck. This is not the worst card. It's obviously understated, but even if you only played Christopher Robin and a couple of other honey characters, when you're in top deck mode with your opponent, it's just draw action every single turn. Draw, well, I shouldn't say action because we have actions in this game, but draw things that are relevant every single turn. Even if you just played Christopher Robin, to go find another Christopher Robin and keep that going. And then you're storing all of the cards that you're drawing naturally to be able to also spew all of those out in a future turn. So it's not the worst card. I don't think it is going to warrant a spot in most decks. There's going to have to be some kind of honey card that the game developers did not realize would pair well with something outside of its original ink color. However, all of the honey cards are also severely underpowered, and I think they were playing it safe with them. So, that being said, it's a 2 out of 5, but I still think it's a playable card technically. So, just like I was saying earlier with a 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5 doesn't mean just throw it in the bulk bin. All right, now we have Carl Fredrickson and Russell. 6 cost, 6/6, shift 4. So you can shift this one on top of one of your characters named Carl Fredrickson or Russell. Quest for 2. While this character is at a location, all characters at that location get +1 lore and gain evasive. This one's 1 out of 5. Locations, not great. This ink combination, also not great. Its stats are fine. I don't like cards that don't do anything the turn they come into play, or if they are banished or bounced or anything like that, because you're just giving up so much tempo if your opponent does have a removal card, such as Let It Go, such as, um, the new Red Panda card that banishes any character. There's just so many things that can deal with it without you getting any value whatsoever. 1 out of 5. Red Moon Ritual. 7 costs Inkable, Woody, and Buzz Lightyear. So it's a 4/4. It's a team hero toy captain. Shift 5. It's funny that it's a captain for Piglet out there. So shift 5, quest for 3, to infinity. When you play this character, if chosen opponent has more cards in hand than you do, draw cards until you have the same number. And then, and beyond, whenever this character quests, you may play a card with cost 2 or less for free. So obviously the first ability is the most important one because draw more cards, win more games. And this is kind of replacing Clarabelle. It's not as good as Clarabelle, but we're in a post-rotation world and toys are already pretty good. So I think this card's just pretty good. I'd say it's a 3 out of 5. I'm not going to just discount that and beyond is there. it's definitely a great ability. We're going to utilize it. We're going to put cards like Rex into play to protect our Woody and Buzz. But we really want to draw as many cards as possible. This would love to go in a deck that has songs that we can return characters to our opponent's hand, like Mother Knows Best. Yeah, it's just a solid card. 3 out of 5. Maleficent and Diablo. So 7 cost Inkable, 6/5, quest for 2, villain, sorcerer, and fools. You may put 5 character cards from your discard on the bottom of your deck in any order to shift this character for free. Yeah, more Diablos that we can shift for free. This was clearly designed by someone who has played a card game that does not have resources because free is too good. It's just so too good. During your turn, whenever this character exerts, draw a card. Not only can it shift for free, and I'm not even going to come up with some insane scenario where we shift it for free, turn 2 or turn 3 or some craziness like that. Just the fact that we can like shift this for free and play more cards from our hand, and whenever it exerts, you draw a card. Okay, that could be singing a song. It's a singer 7 as is. Not to mention, it gets most of the way there with most sing together cards, right? It could be if you challenge anything, a character, a location. It could be if you have some kind of effect that says exert one of your characters, do something. You can exert this one. This card is phenomenal. I'm giving this card a 5 out of 5. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse Adventuring Duo. We have a new kind of shift on this one, all right? It's a 7 cost inkable 5/5 quest for 5. And they finally figured out that lore symbol templating. The number 5 in on one symbol, I hated it. I've always hated it. This looks fantastic. And now we could fit like 9 of them on there if we need to. So it is a team and it is a hero. Duo shift 0. What did I just say about Maleficent and Diablo? You may pay 0 ink to play this on top of one of your characters, one named Mickey Mouse and one named Minnie Mouse. So this is not going to be a crazy scenario that I'm coming up with. Your opponent or you are going to be shifting this out on turns 2 and 3 regularly, in my opinion. And it doesn't even have to have any other abilities. Just 2 or 3 shifter that, yes, you've discarded 2 cards from your hand basically, but it quests for 5. That is 25% of the game. But let's move on. If this character would be banished, put them in your inkwell face down and exerted instead. So what was the big downside of shifting? The big downside of shifting is when your character is banished, you lose all the cards that you shifted under them. You've essentially wasted them. With this card, you just straight up don't. This card is just phenomenal. Unless your opponent is going to return it to your hand, which will only set you back probably 1 turn, right? It's just a serious problem. Even if they banish it, you're just going to be able to start hard playing the future ones that you draw. So this card is phenomenal. Do I think it's broken? No, I absolutely don't. I know that sounds insane. Turn 3 or turn 4 5/5 sounds insane. I think that this is going to be one of the metagame checks and balances, okay? And that's actually going to be a future video. I have it in my notes, don't worry. But the TLDR is there are certain cards in your deck that you have to have a check for, and that is going to balance the format is the TLDR on that. So look forward to that video. This card's a 4 out of 5, okay? I could see the viewpoint of it being a 5 out of 5, but it's not unbeatable. It's not broken. Whereas some of the 5 out of 5s I've mentioned are either unbeatable, they are broken, or they go in every single deck of that ink color. I don't think every Emerald and Sapphire deck will play this card. I think you're dedicating a lot to it. You're playing a lot of Mickey Mouse. You're playing a lot of Minnie Mouse. All right, you've got a mice infestation, but the payoff is huge. So 4 out of 5. All right, Darkwing Duck and Launchpad. 7 cost, uninkable, 5/7. It is a team super dot hero detective shift 5 with ward, because of course it has ward. Why wouldn't it have ward? Quest for 2, but you're most likely not questing because during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. Yeah, so the Sapphire Steel community is obviously loving this. I know a lot of people really want detectives to work, and this could be a really good push towards that. I don't think this goes in every Sapphire Steel deck. I hope that it makes a whole new archetype of detectives because we have seen some fringe playability of that, right? I remember specifically casting a game that RMB played in the ICL where he was playing detectives and he won. So people want detectives to be a thing, and I really like that the game designers are saying, like, yes, here's a powerful card, but it's not going to be played in every single deck, right? And because of that, I'm giving it a 3/5 because it's not going to be played in every single deck, but I do think it's quite powerful, and I love that it exists. All right, now we have Belle and Beast, certain as the sun. 8 cost, uninkable, 6/7, and shift 6. It's a team hero prince princess. Quest for 3, and whenever this character quests, ready all cards in your inkwell. We've seen that before with Mufasa. And then it also has the second ability, which costs 6 ink, not exert, just 6 ink. Ready your other characters. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. So obviously insanely powerful. I don't think it's good though. Uh Mufasa fringe play, right? But it had an effect as soon as you play it. This one kind of has an effect as soon as you play it if you shift it. Unfortunately, I don't think the shift targets are that strong. If the shift targets were cards that I would already want to put into my Ruby Sapphire deck anyway, because again, it's locked into Ruby Sapphire. That's why they can make these powerful cards. If they were something that I already wanted to play in my deck, it would be quote unquote free to add this to my deck. But the times that I draw an 8 cost uninkable and I don't have the shift targets, or the time I draw the underpowered shift targets and I don't have the shift to put onto it, I think are going to hurt it too much for it to really see a lot of competitive play right now. They could always print more bells and beasts. And so this is something that I would keep an eye on, but for now, it's a 2/5. And our last card, Dash Par and Violet Par. 8 costs, 5/5, Team Super Dot Hero. And this one has that combo shift. You may pay 6 ink to play it on top of one of your characters named Dash Par, one named Violet Par, or one of each. It quests for 2. It also is word soup. It has shift, it has evasive, it has resist +1, but it also has another ability, Incredible Tactics. When this character quests or challenges, draw a card for each card under them. So, if we compare it to Maleficent and Diablo, the Maleficent and Diablo are bigger, right? It costs less to play them, right? But this one, you could technically be drawing 2 cards. However, it's not just every time it exerts. It is when you specifically quest or challenge, then you draw a card. So the Maleficent and Diablo are obviously significantly stronger. I still think this one is stronger in draft. That's a conversation that myself and the Mad Drafter were having on his channel, because in draft, you if you especially if you get this early, and I'd imagine if you took it, you are getting it early because it's a legendary, it's not going to get passed very often. You can really start picking up many of the shift targets, and it's hard to draw cards in draft. In core constructed, you're locked into only playing a certain number of them, and they're not as good in core constructed as they would be in draft, as well as the fact that this is a ruby and steel card, which traditionally has been on the struggle bus because it's so difficult to draw cards, right? Because of all of that, I'm giving it a 2/5 for core constructed. And yeah, that's everything. So let's get out of there and let's kick it back to me. Boom. And look at that. I know how to go between screens. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. That is going to conclude the like real deep dive into Attack of the Vine for a full set review. I do plan on making my like top 10 hits and misses, or maybe top 8, because it's a trading card game and we're designed to believe top 8's the pinnacle, which it is. So yeah, look forward to that. And if you've missed any of them at all, there is a link below in the pinned comment to the playlist of everyone in the series. Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching, everyone who's been commenting that they're here. Attendance is, of course, mandatory. We are in school. And until next time, see you later.